made a law of time space. People always think that it's only about physics. All trading that has been done global-wise is between time and space. You either buy something here, sell there, or you buy something today, sell tomorrow. So technology has shortened time, shortened space. Today, if you want to know what a bag of tomato is in Kano, you always know. So what is now making the difference to be so huge? Is it we can talk about fuel price increment from today to tomorrow, but is the fuel alone responsible for that difference? There are so many lining factors. You make measures of something like that when they bring something from Togo to my 12, sometimes it's cheaper than when you bring. Can we say somebody should go and produce? It's not direct. There's one critical element, and we may shy away from it till tomorrow. When a truck is leaving Kano, after you bought fuel, how much money do you need to give to driver to be distributing along the way? It doesn't happen elsewhere. The amount of money we spend that are not legal on the road, a truck in Nigeria needs about 70 different papers. 70 different papers. Local government something. Local government, can we something permit, and you get to some states. After getting all the permits you need in Lagos, you get to some state, they will see you don't have their own mid-year. And agric is so perishable. DOC lifespan is 24 hours. Somebody will stop you. A frozen vehicle that is bringing chicken from my Akiyele plant to Lagos, to my cold room in Agege here. Somebody will stop him. Somebody that doesn't have an idea. We don't want to complain, but there's something we can do. Can we convey all the 70-something paper the truck need into one and say, as a truck owner, go and pay this amount at this level? It's something that is within our control. There is law, there is culture. If I have a tractor that is going inside bush every day, when I bought that tractor, the tractor has plate number. But because the tractor is working in the bush, not working on the road, the tractor can now have his plate number for more than 3 months. One thing will tear it off. And that tractor that is supposed to work, somebody is just going without plate number somewhere, and somebody arrests, you don't have plate number. Can we make special rules for some things? If I don't want to mention any enforcement agent, if I'm bringing day chicks to Ikorodu and somebody arrests that day chicks vehicle, can there be a law that let's cite you? We are going to be going, but we are going to cite you and we'll contact your company. The name of the company is there. That this vehicle lacks so, and we find this vehicle and you must pay it. Instead of delaying that DOC vehicle and allow the DOCs to die. It's something that is within our control. We can do it. We can.
Sorry, guys. Can we have extra mics? I think it has battery issues.
So no, yes. Can have it.
Make it happen. Now, what you've said is very important, which is for the ministry in Lagos to have like a 911 call number where people coming in with various perishable items can call if there's distress. And when they call, they should be able to intervene and make things happen. Thank you. I know that is doable. That won't cost anything. No, this one is working. We gave one out before. So that is very crucial. Okay, because during COVID, a lot of people were calling, and I will go on radio to say, Magboro, the police, they are collecting 15,000. Because when they dropped the food, during COVID lockdown, the first week, when they drop the food, when they are going back, there's no food. So they will now exploit them to say, how do we know that it is food you brought to Lagos? Show us proof. And it will be 15,000. Whoever does not have 15,000, they will pack them in the morning and go in the evening. You know, until I began to, so I was chairman agric at the Chamber of Commerce, we began to call police PRO. Police PRO called them. So having that kind of 911 center with some phone numbers will also help. That's a good one. And I know quite a lot of guys here have been taking notes. Now, but beyond that, like my chairman in my 12 said, it's looking like I'm for government, but I'm for government. And I'm not for government. But I'm for responsibility. Let us take in the developed world, every 80% is private, 20% is government. Okay? How can we lobby? Because gathering all paper into one, Lagos cannot do that one. It's federal. Okay? So how can organizations begin to lobby? I'm not seeing organizations in Nigeria lobby. Everybody does not want government problem. Okay? How can we begin to lobby? I've worked with some people in Malaysia that they lobby. So how can we lobby? How can animal care lobby? How can animal care say, I'm the government? As far as Nigeria is concerned, animal care produces one of the largest, if not the largest number of eggs in this country. So how can animal care also lobby such that every other person will align? How? What do you need from government to help you in that lobbying?
Thank you so much. I'm happy you are coming back to what I was trying to talk about before. Our industry is an industry that you cannot detach from government. All over the world, 4% of the of Britain farm for the entire continent, continent till today. Only 4% are farmers. Why are they doing it? Government support them 100%. Every tomato that is entering every supermarket are guaranteed, either sold or unsold. The farmer gets their money. It's not the same story here.
Sorry, sir. My apologies. We're going to be practical. The democracy in Europe and US have been there for long, okay? And it was private sector that brought the ideas. I'm trained in international food diplomacy and foreign policy. So it's private sector that push policies to lobby, not government. Government cannot know you push something on the table for government to consider, it will take some time. Like you and I know, it's not very fast with government. My question is, how can private sector engage government so that these policies can be put in place? Most times, governments are not active players. They have the working knowledge, but they don't operate at your scale. And things change per time. How can we get private sector to work with government?
I think we need to correct something, or maybe agree on something first. I think it's the other way around. There is a roadmap to agricultural development, which starts from government and ends up in the private sector. It's not the other way around. It's not the private sector initiative that drives it. Let me ask you, if you have 5 million naira today to invest, you take it to agriculture business, or you want to put it in treasury bill where you will earn 20%. That is what most Nigerians will do.
I will put it in agriculture because I understand the data.
Exactly. Because we're a player, but many of us, when we have our money, how many people are going into agribusiness and agriculture because it's being perceived as risky, not viable, and not economically competitive? That is why farmers are poor today. Let me get something. Let's get something right.
Not poor. No, you see, let's put things in perspective. Farmers are not poor. It is priorities. Hold on. You are talking to somebody that has been detained a few times in law enforcement agency. When transactions go wrong, I've been detained a few times. So I'm not coming here to talk theory. I'm an entrepreneur to the core. So I understand when the rain messes things up. Farmers can ensure. But in India, they are poorer than the farmers in Nigeria. Because you see, perspective matter. When we are talking, if we're talking about Malaysia, India, China, these are people we should be relating with because we have same law, we have same culture, we have same of all these things. Farmers in India are poorer. So I want a situation where we take responsibility. If a farmer decides not to save out of the income that is not enough, the farmer will never be sustainable. How many farmers here? Let's be practical. Sir, have you been in the bush before?
I grew up as a farmer, as I'm talking to you.
Good. So the question I'm trying to push out is, let us leave government temporarily and focus on us. What do we need? I did a survey on radio one day, and I did it for like 3 weeks. I said, today, when you call into my program, don't complain about government. Tell us what you want government to do. 30 minutes program. We got about 15 calls. Everybody was still complaining about government. 3 weeks, I was cutting them and cutting them and cutting them. The question is, we know that government is crucial, but the question is, how can we? What do we need to do? Case in view. Malaysia, when the palm oil, when the US was not buying their palm oil, and they were saying it has cholesterol, it was my dad that the government came to bring from Nigeria to lead the delegation in Malaysia to go and negotiate in US. And what did he do? They went to areas, states in rural community that needed development. They went to the senators to say, if you bring this palm oil and set up refineries in US, you will process the crude palm oil to different products, just like our oil. And you will create a lot of jobs in those communities. And so the US senators now, sponsored bills that they now began to say palm oil does not have high cholesterol again because they were economically benefiting from it. This is what lobbying does. In Colorado, I'm not talking theory, I studied it there. In Colorado, I'm saying this so that what can we do in Colorado? When US was not the leading in egg production, there was conversation around high cholesterol. But when US began to produce the largest number of eggs, the Colorado farmers put money together and they began
About the issues, we are not complaining. We are only highlighting the pain points of the farmers. If the problem is none, it's half solved. In all of the ways, all the world.
Most commissioner or ministers will emulate what this commissioner is doing. This will be very easy. And now, most of these farmers you are talking about are very poor, honestly. And there's no engagement between these farmers and federal government. Most of the people federal government is dealing with are people who are lackaways. People who can just write, do paparazzi, that's all sorts of things for government, and government will give them the money. They will not take this money to the farmers. That is it. All this problem is it. That's the problem. That's the problem.
So you see, I don't know if some of you can feel me here. I am still emphasizing on what can we do. The question is, what can we do? And so,
what we can do. You see, in most cases, we can't detach government.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. An average farmer in the north, say somebody who has, let me just give an example of who farmers live the northerners. An average farmer in the north has 2, 3, up to 4 wives. And what he does is, he has 100 bags of maize. From that 100 bags of maize, his calculation is, I will use, and he has like maybe 5, 6 children. Maybe I will do wedding for 3 of my children this year. It's from that 100 bags. He will take away maybe like 40 of those bags. This one is provision for my children's wedding. 40 bags is provision for fertilizer and other farming work for next year. 20 bags is what I will use to cook and eat for my family. He depends on that farming. Now, if federal government will look into its own local theory and say, okay, you are farming 100 bags, and this 100 bags, Bukata has already dealt with it. You know, you have to go to hospital, you have to do something, things you didn't expect. But you already budgeted your own 100 bags of maize, and it has gone this season. So eventually, if something happened to that 100 bags, maybe out of this one, pull away for his wedding, maybe 20 bags or whatever, something happened along the line, what will he do? He has to go and borrow. He has to keep on paying. So what we are saying is, if government will do engagement, let me give you one example. And not because she's here, the commissioner. We have farmers, you know them, the farmers who are farming in the roadside. Some people are championing them. Whenever government do any engagement for farmers, they give them fertilizer, they give them, those typical farmers doesn't get it. It doesn't go to their hand. Those farmers, you understand me? They don't get it. The same thing is applied to the federal government. Now, because she engaged the farmers and said, look, I know your problem. The problem you have is most of these things we share for you farmers. The typical farmers are not getting it. Now I will take care of it myself. I will make sure you get it. Will it be cheap? Things will get cheaper and they provide more. Because you know their problem, because you engage them, that's why it's getting better. So the federal government, despite the fact they are spending huge amount of money for farmers, I can tell you categorically that half of that money is going to some people's purse, one half is going to the farmers.
Sorry. So let me say, I'll come to you. Let me say what we have done. And that's why I'm emphasizing on what can we do. In 2008, Ogunwusi, I will mention him. Ogunwusi has a river basin in Iseyin. We bought diesel. When you start the machine,